All right. Once again, I'd like to thank everyone for watching my podcast here on the Snack Attack podcast. And our special guest is Jared Jaffee today. Welcome to the show, brother.
All right. Thanks for having me.
Okay. For those who don't know much about him, he's won $6,797,355. That's tournament play. He's from New York. He won first place in the 2014 1500 No Limit Mixed Max. Let people know about. I don't even know about the Mixed Max. Let the fans watching here.
Yeah, no, I think they only had that tournament for 1 year. It was just a no limit event where the amount of players at the table would decrease throughout the tournament. So I think it started 9-handed, and then it went to 6-handed, then it went to 4-handed, and then heads up. I think when there were like 4 people left, there were heads up matches. So it was just just consolidating the amount of players at the table. I think they only tried it that once. They gave me the bracelet and they said they didn't want to do it ever again.
Huh. Maybe because they thought you was going to win it every year.
No, I think they just figured if I could win it, there was no reason to have it again.
Jared, what got you into poker, brother?
I've been playing poker since I was a little kid. I used my father used to play like with his friends like once a week, and I would always watch. And then I liked gambling on whatever I could gamble on, and cards were the easiest thing. And I had a bunch of friends growing up who also liked to play cards, so we were gambling with each other after school, playing different from just like blackjack to poker to whatever. Since I was in probably like junior high school.
When did you start taking it serious, though?
I would say I started taking it seriously probably like right after college. I started like I was playing, like some home games and stuff during college, but then I like discovered internet poker like right after I graduated. And then as soon as I played my first hand online, I basically played every day for the next however many years until I was done doing all the school I could do. And it was either get a real job or play poker. And I decided on playing poker.
Wow. So how many years you been doing poker now? I mean,
I'd say full time, I'd say since around like 2010, 2009, maybe.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I started a little later than some people, at least people my age. But, we're at about 15, 16 years straight of nothing but poker. So, yeah, that's where we're at now.
That's pretty good. I mean, no matter what you do for 15 years, you get good at it, whether you're a painter or a plumber or a poker player.
Yeah. The only problem is when you're a painter or a plumber, everybody else isn't getting as good with you. Nah, in poker, everyone else is getting good too, so it doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to be doing any better. But yeah, I mean, that's why it's an interesting field.
Yeah. I did some background on you. I'm not sure about this, what I'm about to ask you, but you got family that play this game?
My father plays, but I mean just recreationally. He moved out to Vegas about 3 years ago. He plays like once a week at the South Point. He plays like the tournaments there. And we were partners in the tag team tournament this year at the World Series.
Oh, that's got to be great.
And we went kind of deep in that. We cashed. We got like, I don't even remember, probably in like the 30s or something like that, 40s. And he's cashed the seniors a few times. But yeah, he's just, that's his number one hobby for sure.
Oh, so no brothers. I thought you had brothers.
Oh, no. Will and John Jaffee.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking
both
about.
Players, but no, we're not related.
Okay.
They spell their names with a 1E at the end. I've got two.
Okay, so. That's what I...
Yeah, no.
I thought, wow, you got two brothers play too.
No, we're all... Okay. I wish we were all sharing bankrolls, so then I might be in better shape. Okay. But yeah, no, not related.
What's your favorite game to play?
I mean, No Limit Hold'em's still probably my favorite. I mean, I've been playing a lot of PLO the last couple of years, and I really like PLO 8, but there's not as many opportunities to play that game. But yeah, I mean, if you give me a good No Limit Hold'em game, that's always going to be my favorite. The only problem is it isn't, sometimes the No Limit Hold'em games aren't always the best in terms of at least cash games sometimes can be a little boring depending on who you're playing with. PLO at least is never going to be boring. So it just kind of depends who I'm sitting down with. For tournaments, for sure, I'm still prefer a No Limit Hold'em tournament.
Well, that's why believe it or not, that's why more and more people are playing PLO.
Yeah, I mean, PLO just
not as dead.
Yeah, I mean, PLO, it just, it doesn't really matter who the players are at the table because there's always going to be action. You're never going to have you're never going to have, raise and take it 3 times in a row in a PLO cash game. But you could see that in these no limit games, especially in these casinos in Vegas all the time. So yeah, like I said, if you gave me a bunch of action players, I'd rather play no limit hold'em. But if you gave me the choice between like a bunch of miserable regs playing no limit hold'em and anybody else playing PLO, then I'll go play PLO.
Yeah. What's your biggest cash at? Is it the one I was talking about, the 2014?
I think probably that was about the same as the last WPT I won, Choctaw, like 2.5 years ago. That was a little.
I seen that.
That might have been like 420. They're about that. I have a lot of cashes in the same, 400s, 300, 200. Yeah, but I think the bracelet and Choctaw were within 15,000 of one another. So very close.
Okay, yeah. I mean, I seen that. I was going to mention that. But, when I do all my homework for this stuff sometimes, I mean, my brain gets loose because I'm getting up there in age now, even though I don't look it. Yeah.
You look younger crazy. Than I do.
I think a lot of it's just eating right and resting. Resting is important.
Well, you got that real energy charge to you. Nobody's more energetic than you.
That's how it is with me with poker, and I'm excited to have you here today. Believe me, because I get to know you better. I mean, I know you. Don't think I don't know you as well as you think, because I study poker that much to watch.
Right.
When I know you're going to come on my show, see these cards here. I write little notes so I know what I'm doing.
Right.
And it's like a job, believe it or not. But I love it. I don't care if I don't get paid. I just love doing this.
That's what it's all about. That's why most people play poker instead of most poker players these days. Definitely have had other options. It's not like maybe 20 years ago where, now most of the poker players are, upper echelon intelligence. You know what I mean? Like the successful ones, so they could do plenty of things, but they choose this because this is something that they're passionate about. So it makes sense.
It's not just that. A lot of poker players that I talk to, they're top dogs. They like the freedom.
Yeah, of course.
Where they ain't like, well, I got to be a 8-hour chef. I got to go to work.
Yeah.
They could choose and pick what tournaments they want.
Yeah.
They want to go on vacation, they can.
Could do 2 at the same time. So a lot of poker stops are mini vacations too. So it's just like, not a lot of jobs where you get to go play, on a beach or in
like the Bahamas. They go there and
all over Europe and Australia. Try like
crazy.
You know what I mean? Like you're basically on vacation while you're playing poker, cards. And even though it's a job, it's not and it's probably more stressful than some other jobs might be. But it's also you're not sitting in a cubicle all day. You're sitting there and you're bullshitting with your friends and having a good time and you're gambling. And so it's definitely. It's definitely not a bad career if you can make it work for yourself.
Do you travel to these other places to play sometimes?
Yeah, I mean, I've traveled a decent amount. I've probably traveled a lot less in the last few years. Since I moved to Vegas, I have a little bit less reason to be on the road as much. When I was in New York, there was not a lot of poker, so I had to travel. Yeah. Being out here, you could find a game pretty much wherever, so you don't have to. So I definitely travel less lately, but I mean, I've traveled around Europe and all over the Bahamas. Been to the Bahamas a million times.
How long you been in Vegas now?
It's over 10 years now, almost 11 years.
Oh,
so
okay.
yeah, I've gradually started to travel a little bit less, but I think in the next year or two, I'm going to try to travel a little more than I have the last couple of years. But yeah, I mean, I've definitely done my share of traveling, but I'm getting older too. So like, sometimes I like to just be at home,
Yeah, I know.
These young kids can just fly across the world and back the same day and be playing a tournament 10 minutes after they got off the plane. Like, I don't know if I got that in me anymore.
What I love about poker is everybody plays a different way, so it's like a chess game. But yeah, I think age does come in to play sometimes. I mean, personally for me, I think I'm okay now. I mean, I'm sure you heard about my quadruple heart surgery.
Yeah.
It took me a long time to be able to get my win back on that. And, but I played in the main event. I went deep before. I played in tournaments where there's day 2s, day 3s. Rest, very important.
Yeah.
But I don't think I'm over the hill to where I can't play the main event for 7 days.
No, listen, I mean, obviously Everyone's a little different. You know, there's some 70-year-old people with more energy than, you know, some 20-year-old people. Like, it just depends on you. But yeah, obviously it's going to be a little bit easier the younger you are to put in more hours and to be on the road going from stop to stop. Like, that's just how it is. But that doesn't mean that if you're a little bit older that you can't do it. You know what I mean? Like, it's just you have to make certain adjustments, whatever. And, you know, it's like anything, like in sports too, like obviously, you know, a 23-year-old in the NBA is going to have a little bit more bounce in his step on the second game of a back-to-back. Doesn't mean that the 35-year-old can't play. You know what I mean? It's just life. It's just how things work.
I don't know which main event it was, but it was within the last 6 or 7 years, I believe. And I wish I could remember his name, but I can't. But he was 72 years old and made final table. You know who that is? You remember who that was?
Was that the guy from was he from London? Was he from England?
He's from another country, but he was 72 and made the final table. And he didn't win it, but he lasted pretty deep.
Listen,
so that makes
we're not running marathons here. It's still it's a poker tournament. You're sitting at a table. Like, it can be draining, but it doesn't mean that, you know, just because you're a little older, you can't do it. Like,
right.
And again, it just depends on people. I'm sure there's some guys who are 70 years old who wouldn't be able to sit there for 7 straight days, but I bet you there's some 30-year-olds that couldn't sit there for 7 straight days. So it's on a case-by-case basis.
When I seen that, and I know that I'm getting older, I'm thinking, you know what? If this guy's 72, hell, I got plenty of years still I can do this. Yeah. A lot of players, like Phil was talking about, maybe not playing. We knew that was BS. But because of the drain, well, there's going to be a drain anyway. And if you play even in an event that's 3 days long, that last day they played down to the money. You could play over 12 hours.
Yeah, I mean, people always say, "Oh, like I don't want to sit there for 7 days," and I look at them and I laugh and I say, "I promise you, if you're still in a tournament on the 7th day, you're going to be happy to be there." You know what I mean? Yeah. Like you don't have to worry about, like, even if it's a 3-day tournament. If people are like, "Well, I don't want to sit there for 3 days." Let me tell you something. If you're at the final table of that tournament on the 3rd day and you're playing for $1 million, I don't think you're going to be complaining about being there on the 3rd day. I think you're going to be okay. So I always laugh when people say, "Oh, I don't want to be there for all those days." If you're there all those days, I'm pretty sure you're going to be okay with it. You know, I think that's just it's just an excuse.
I can't wait to get to one of those where I feel that way.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. Listen, if I'm there for 7 days, I promise you I won't complain about being there for 7 days. I'll be okay with it.
What game, I assume, do you mainly play Hold'em? Is that the game you feel you're the best at?
Yeah, I definitely think that Hold'em would be my best game. But I think it also, I always say, like, it really just depends on what everybody else is. Like, for example, say I rate myself, just by argument's sake, as an 8 out of 10 in No Limit Hold'em, and everybody I'm playing with is this 8 or a 9 out of 10, well, then that doesn't really do anything for me. If I'm a 5 out of 10 in Omaha 8, but I'm playing with a bunch of people who are 2 out of 10, then I'm better off than I was in the Hold'em game. Yeah. But yeah, I would say my best game is No Limit Hold'em because I've played hundreds of thousands more hands than I have of any other game, for sure. I've been playing that forever. But I'm comfortable playing most games. Like I've been playing a lot more mixed lately. Maybe not like the newer mixed games that like everyone makes up as they go along, but like, the standard, 8-game horse games, deuce to 7, those type of games. Like I've been playing a decent amount of those in cash. I feel pretty comfortable. Do I feel as comfortable as I do playing No Limit Hold'em or maybe PLO? Definitely not. But again, I don't think there's that many people out there that are really. There's way more people who are good at No Limit Hold'em than there are at Raz. So it's all relative.
You're talking about you like the pot limit 8 or better.
Yeah, that's just a game I enjoy.
I love it too. I wish there were more of them.
Yeah.
I play a lot of the limit. I'm very good at. That's actually my best game. But if they had more of the pot limit 8 or betters, I'm okay with that.
That's my favorite. Yeah.
I know I do well at that too.
I think I final table the first ever tournament I played PLO 8 was at the World Series maybe 2 years ago, and I final tabled it. It was the first I'd played PLO 8 in cash, but I'd never played a tournament. And then I was just like, yeah, I want to play more of these tournaments, but they don't exist. You know what I mean? Maybe you can play 2 or 3 during the summer, but that's about it.
I think coming up, don't the WPT have one of those?
I don't even know. Not that I saw.
I know they have a limit one, but I play in it every year. But I think they got.
It's possible.
Well, I'd be playing it if I could.
I mean, if I see it, I'll for sure play it.
I love it.
But there's just, there's nonstop no limit hold'em tournaments. It's hard to find some of the other games out there on a regular basis, and you're not going to try. A lot of times, like the circuit might have like some smaller ones. You know what I mean? Like But I'm not going to get on a plane to go play a $400 limit tournament. You know what I mean? Like so. It's got to be. It's
got to be worth your while.
It's got to be either worth the while or close to home, one or the other,
Yeah, if you're going to win $500,000, you go play in it. But if you're only going to win 100,000, it's really not
I'm sure
worth
it's nowhere even close to those numbers, for those circuit. You know what I mean? But,
exactly.
I would love to play more of them. I just, I think that game's getting a lot more popular. So I think in the next few years we're going to see a lot more of that. I think you're going to see a lot like how much PLO has kind of burst onto the scene in the last few years. I think we're going to start to add some stuff to that, and I think PLO 8 might be the next one.
Oh, I hope so, because I love it. I love that game.
Big O is good too, but I prefer PLO 8. That's the one.
Big O is very hard though.
Yeah,
because you're getting 5 cards, and you're not. In my mind, I mean, I'm not the professional here, but in my mind, that takes away your outs. You might be holding some of them outs you need. Having 5 cards on the board and everyone holding 5. It's a little different.
Everybody likes more cards these days. Everyone likes 5 cards, 6 cards. Personally, 4 cards is enough for me. My favorite games would all be 2 card or 4 card. I'll play the 5 card games. 6 card is already like I thoroughly don't enjoy it, so I won't even play that. I've played a decent amount of 5 card, but if you gave me the option, I would cap it at 4 cards and be happy.
Do you like the draw games? Where everything's hidden, basically.
I mean, I don't dislike them. It depends on who I'm playing with and what I'm playing. You know what I mean? Sometimes, they can be real slow. Like, I used to really like triple draw, but
I love it.
But now you could, if you don't like, say it's you have a hand, you're just folding. You might be sitting there for 5 minutes till you get your next hand because till they go through all the draws, and some of these players are super slow and whatever. You know what I mean? So it really just depends on who I'm playing with in the game, whatever. But I definitely enjoy it. I like playing different games. That's why the summer's fun because sometimes you've busted like 7 no limit tournaments in a row, and it's just nice to see something different.
Yep.
Just go play some stud just for a day, just so your brain works a little differently. So I'm definitely a fan of just trying to play as many games as I can.
I played the mixed triple draw at the World Series this year. They had the ace to 5, they had Badoogie and deuce to 7. I loved it. It was great. Like you said, it's away from the normal hold'em.
Yeah.
It's something different. And I pretty much loved it. I'd love to play it again.
Yeah, no,
I went deep. I made the money, and
I like when they switch the games up.
When you're playing these mixed games, and you're going to agree with this.
Yeah.
Especially if you're playing the World Series. You know that most players that are playing these games know the game.
Right.
I mean, they seriously know what they're doing, which makes it funner. It ain't like you're playing somebody they'll play any 4 cards.
Right.
That's normally not how you work it.
Right.
You got to have a hand that connects or something.
Right.
So I enjoy that too, because then I don't have nothing that's going to surprise me.
Right. During the World Series, some of those tournaments, I feel like you definitely have, a couple people like that at each table who are not as experienced in those games. But you definitely see, I'd say, if you're at a 7-handed table, playing one of those games, 5 of the people are, they've been playing these games a long time and they put in a lot of hours. Cash games are a little different. I feel like if you play a cash game like these, then you have almost everybody who's an experienced player at these games. You know what I mean? You don't have too many random people walking into a casino and saying that they want to play, a bunch of mixed games. Like that. That's not usually how it works. So from that perspective, definitely, when you're playing these games, usually you've got much more seasoned players.
Well, here's another thing I like about, especially the mixed draw games, is you're able to bluff. You don't have to have the best hand. Same with Hold'em in a way, because you can go all in and they fold and you don't have to have the best hand. But when you're playing these mixed games and you're drawing one or drawing two, and I sometimes draw zero to make like I have a hand when I should draw.
Right.
And that's bluffing, and it works for me a lot.
They call it snowing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it works every time.
Yeah. I mean, someone's drawing two and you stand pat.
Yeah. Whether you need to
Unless
draw or not.
if they don't get there, they're going to fold. You know what I mean?
And here's the other thing. I mean, this happened when I was playing in the mixed draw games at the World Series this year. There's several in the hand. All right. They're drawing three. I draw one. All right. Now I'm in position, so I'm the last of how many cards? They're still drawing two or three. Now I stay pat.
You stay pat. Yeah.
Because of my position, for one, they're still drawing. Now we still got a draw left. He's pat. He's drawing two. I'm like, oh, now I have to draw.
Yeah.
I have to draw.
Yeah.
I know he's there and I'm not.
Right.
He's going to call no matter what. It's a limit game, an 8-pot limit.
No, yeah.
So now I have to draw.
Yeah.
But you'd be amazed how many times that works when you use the position. The button's so important in all games.
Oh, of course.
I don't care what game you're playing. It's very important.
Yeah.
So I enjoy all, and like I said, I had a chance to win that too, and they're 4-betting, 5-betting pre-flop because it ain't no limit. And I got a call because I need one, and I've got the nuts almost. And they're drawing 3 cards, and they're potting it. I mean, 5 raise. I don't get there, and they do.
Yep. It's
they're
frustrating.
they're playing the ignorant, and I can't stand it.
You're just pat from the beginning, and they're drawing, and
I got knocked out that way by being pat at the beginning when I got knocked out.
Yeah. But,
you just deal with it.
It's just like, that's that game's level of variance. Just like, with,
it
we talk
crazy.
about No Limit PLO and those games.
Uh-huh. What is it that you like best about poker? Is it that you're free with your life and you can do whatever you want and then play a game, or you don't have no hourly 8 to 10, 9 to 5 job?
Yeah. I mean, I think it's hard to just name one thing. I mean, I certainly like being my own boss. I like making my own hours. I like doing what I want when I want. That's just kind of how I've always chosen to live. But I also enjoy, I always played sports growing up. So like as you get older, you're playing less sports. Like this is some type of competition that I can, I like to compete. I like to try to win at things. I like the idea of, sitting down and knowing that I can win a lot of money. You know what I mean? Like you can win a couple years salary in a weekend. Like, that's fun. I like the adrenaline. I like the community aspect of it that like, at this point, every time I go play, I basically know everyone who's there. You know what I mean? Even I might not like everyone who's there, but I know it. You know what I mean? Like you just kind of like, if I like them, I could have a nice conversation. If I don't, I could bust their balls. You know what I mean? Like who knows? But it's just, a lot of jobs you just got to sit there and be quiet all day. That's not for me. I like to be able to like, sometimes I don't want to talk. I'll put my headphones on. You know what I mean? But like, sometimes I'm in the mood to be chatty, and you can't just sit in a boardroom and have a conversation, in corporate America, whenever you feel like it. But if I want to strike up a conversation at the table, I can do it whenever I want. No one can tell me to shut up, So there's a lot of things about it, but I think overall it's just the freedom, it's the excitement, and it's the challenge. Those are the things I'd put at the top of the list.
You played the main event?
I played the event.
What's the best you've done in the main event?
I think my best was somewhere in like right around 100-ish or something like that.
Damn, that's pretty good.
I think I've made day 5 like 3 or 4 times, but I don't think I've ever made I've never made day 6. But yeah, I've played every year since 2009. I haven't missed one. Wow. That was my first one, and I played every year since. And I think my best finish was actually the one where I actually ended up in jail in between day 1 and day 2. I blinded out. A lot of people know this story, but I blinded out for about 4 hours on day 2 because I was in jail. And that was the year I made my deepest run.
You're kidding me.
Yeah.
I never read that.
Yeah, I got pulled over for texting, and I had just lit a joint, and
oh my,
I hadn't even smoked it yet, and they took me to jail. And it was the day, you know, you get a day off in between day 1 and day 2.
Yeah.
Well, it was the day off. I was heading to dinner, and that happened, and they didn't let me out till the next day. And God. So I got out, and I must have had 200 missed calls and texts because everyone just sees me blinding out of the main event. They know something's got to be wrong. But yeah, and I think I showed up there, and I blinded out a little bit. And the first hand I sat down, I won like a decent sized pot, and I was already got all the chips back that I blinded off plus more. And I'm pretty sure that was the year I went the deepest that I've ever went.
Wow!
So I thought that was going to be the year that I made my real run because the story would have been so good. Yeah. But yeah. So I think I've made day 5 3 or 4 times, but yeah,
that's good.
It's good, you know. But it's still got a long way to go for the real money.
Yeah, it's true.
But you're in there. You're starting to feel it a little bit. You know, you're starting to feel like, well, this isn't 15,000 people anymore. Now it's only, you know, now this is the size of a tournament I've won before, so it becomes a little bit more real. But hopefully I'll have a deeper run than that, and I'd like to experience that one time at some point. That'd be fun.
Myself included.
Yeah, everyone's dream.
Do you have any good stories about some of the legends you ever play against Doyle or anybody? I
think Doyle and Johnny Chan are probably the only like legends that I've never played with. I've played with pretty much everyone.
Wow.
But I don't think I've ever sat at a table. I don't think I ever sat at a table with either of them. But pretty much everybody else I've played with at one time or another. I mean, I over the years I've gotten to know pretty much everybody.
You got any good stories? Like, what about Daniel? You didn't mention Daniel.
Yeah, no, I've played with Daniel a million times.
Oh, okay.
So we didn't get along for a while.
Really?
Yeah, there was a few years there where we just were on the opposite side of every issue, basically. Wow. And we would go at it on Twitter, and we would go at it pretty good. But then a few years ago, we kind of just came to a common ground, and now we get along fine. But yeah, you know, well, he's super opinionated, obviously, and so am I. So if you got two super opinionated people and they're not on the same side of things, you know, sometimes it gets a little crazy. But yeah, I mean, I think Daniel's a good guy. And for the last few years, anytime we play together or we see each other, we're always super friendly. But there was a time when we were not seeing eye to eye. But yeah, I mean, he wouldn't be the only one that I've ever argued with in this industry.
Well, that's what makes poker so great, though. Everyone does play differently, and that's what makes it crazy, but also good. What about Phil Ivey? Yeah,
I've played with Phil. I haven't played with him much recently, but back in the day, I played with him a bunch of times. And I remember actually one of the worst beats I ever took was many, many years ago. It was like a few from the money in like the 25K 6 max at the World Series. And Phil was at my table, and I think he lost something like kings to ace king right before, maybe like 10 minutes before I lost the hand that I lost. And he busted out. And then I lost a hand with like kings to queen 10 where we got it in like on the flop where I think it was against Bryn Kenny, and he put me in with just a gutter. And yeah, it was all he had was a gutter. And it was for basically like a chip lead pot, 2 or 3 from the money. And this is a long time ago. This was the first 25K I think I'd ever played. And I had, you know, and he drilled it on me, and it was that feeling. And I couldn't breathe. And I think somebody commented at the table that like they said something along the lines of like he took that way too well. He's going to go kill somebody in the parking lot because like I just didn't say a word. Like I was just so stunned. And so that night, a bunch of my friends went out to the club, and I went with them, whatever. I was kind of down, and we're up in like the second level, and I look down and I see Phil walk in with a couple friends and a bunch of people. And I kind of walk down there, and he sees me, and he says hello, and he asked me how I did. And I go, I took a real tough one, whatever. And he's like, it can't be worse than mine. And I go, it was worse than yours. And he just shrugs his shoulders. He's like, who cares? I go, I care. And he's like, well, he's like, well, tonight you're gonna party with me. And he invited me me to his table, and we had a good time that night. And that was one of my. That's a good Phil Ivey story. Yeah, he was cool. He's like, well, maybe we can make you feel a little better. And he let me hang out with him for the night. And this, like I said, this had to be 2000. I don't even know, 12. 11, whatever, when I hadn't played a lot yet. And so, it was, I got a good story out of a bad turn of events for me at the poker table.
That's a pretty good
and then
story.
Ever since then, whenever I see him, he's always super friendly and, so that was a fun Phil Ivey story. But yeah.
Wow, you've been playing. What about Phil Hummuth?
Yeah, I played plenty with Phil. I played with Phil just a couple days ago in the studio. We both max late regged and we were at the same table, and we actually played the first hand off the deck. We both max late regged, and we got into a hand against each other. And he tried to bluff me, and I couldn't have put my chips in any faster, and he could not breathe. And he's like, I tried to make a bluff one time, and these guys, blah, 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 this and that, whatever. But we get along, so it wasn't like a normal. So I think he ended up taking it out on someone else at the table. He found a reason to yell at somebody else because he didn't want to yell at me as much. But yeah, I've known Phil for years. Phil's always been super, super nice to me. There was a time I remember years ago, before we had ever met, he had me blocked on Twitter, and I couldn't understand why. I must have said something obnoxious or whatever, because Phil was probably saying something crazy, whatever, and I said something, and he blocked me. And then I saw him at a charity event in New York City where he was emceeing this big charity event. And he came over to my table, and he's on the microphone, and he's like, oh, because there was like one pro at every table. And he's like, at this table, a good guy, blah, blah, blah. And I go, if I'm such a good guy, why did you block me on Twitter? And he's like, I got you blocked on Twitter. Oh, yeah. He's like, all right, I'm going to unblock you. And then that's how we started, and then after that, we started running into each other more and more. And, but yeah, he's always been super gracious to me. And, I love his shtick. I think he's fun at the table. Like, I mean, obviously sometimes he's out of line, but to me, it's funny. So he's never been out of line to me. So it's all good. So I don't worry about it.
I know he doesn't remember it, but, back in 2011, I played in a 1,500 no limit hold'em WSOP. He got moved to my table. I think I finished 27th in that tournament, but we were in so many hands together because that's how it is.
Yeah.
When you're sitting at a table, and I'm sure you know this, you're not going to be out of position playing many hands. You're going to be against this guy or this guy directly by you.
Yeah. There's always going to be somebody at your table.
And Phil happened to be right here by me.
Yeah.
Seat 9, I was in seat 8 or 10-9, whatever. And I had a lot of chips at the time. And so did he. But I was drilling him every hand. He bluffed me once.
Yeah.
And they put that one bluff hand on the damn internet. After I cleaned him for most of them, they showed that one. But he wasn't rude to me. And I was wearing my cowboy hat that I normally wear when I'm playing high stakes poker. And he got the one bluff in, but boy, I got a bluff in back at him. But it's been so long. Think about that. It's been a long time ago.
Yeah. He plays a lot of poker.
That was my first real cash at the World Series 2000.
Oh, okay. So it's a nice story.
I took that cash and I got into one of their daily deep stacks. And I ended up winning it. And that's how I bought me a car. I won one of the daily deep stacks.
That's a nice parlay. That's what you got to do. One into the other,
That's what got me getting some money. My bankroll back then.
Yeah. I played with him one of his televised cash games maybe like a year and a half ago down in Texas. And it was funny because he had a rough time on the stream. And he was not in a good mood. And he was... You know what I mean? Like if you watch the stream, you'd be like, this guy is, you know what I mean? But as soon as the cameras were off and we were done playing, he's out in the lobby and hanging out with everybody. And we had dinner and we had drinks and whatever. And you wouldn't have thought there was a chance that would have been, he would have been in that type of mood if you watched him play the stream.
Right.
And to be fair, people like to go after Phil. You know what I mean? And people like to poke at him and whatever.
That's right.
So there's a lot of times, listen, he gets out of line on his own plenty also. that's fine. But there's also plenty of times people don't necessarily see it; they only see the highlights.
Right.
Where people are trying to rile them up and trying to wind them up, and then you just see the finished product. And that it was kind of like that on that stream. People were jabbing at him, whatever. And listen, like. That's what you're gonna get, you know. If people did that to me,
that's what they want from him.
Yeah, that's what they want, and I would be the same. If people kept poking at me, like I'm gonna respond. You know what
exactly.
I mean? So not everybody always sees that, but deep down, I truly believe Phil's a good guy, and I like him, and I've got nothing bad to say.
Dude, what he's done as far as his whole career, he's great, but he's adapted to the younger style of playing these young bucks are playing now. Remember, he's old fashioned.
Yeah.
But he's adapted so well to him.
Well, I think the biggest thing with him playing against younger players isn't even necessarily that he's adapted his style of play. It's that he's very, very good at recognizing how he's perceived, and he's very cognizant of what everyone's trying to do against him. And so he may not even deviate from what he's comfortable with as much, but he's very good at seeing how other people are seeing him, and that's how he adapts. He finds spots based solely on what he thinks other people think he's capable of, and he's very good at that. He's not going to run around playing solver poker all the time, but he's going to find a way to beat those guys because he knows what they think he's going to do, and then he'll do something different. So
this leads into one of the questions I almost forgot to ask you. How do you think other players perceive you?
I think it depends on the player. I think there is a very wide range in how I'm perceived at the poker table.
Wow.
I think it literally could go from here to here. I think that there's people who, think that I'm really, really good poker player and can beat almost any field I play in. And then I think there's some people who just think I'm complete dust. You know what I mean?
Wow.
Or maybe within there's definitely people who like
Jared. I always thought you were good, honest God.
I mean,
really, I look at you as a solid player because you're quiet. Most of the time, you're quiet, right?
Yeah, it depends.
Yeah.
It depends on. But it just depends. Like, listen, when I go play these tournaments in the studio where 90% of the field are the top players, I know they don't perceive. I'm certain they don't perceive that I'm on their level, and maybe I'm not. That's fine. I know that I can compete with them, and I've done well. But I know that they don't think that I'm top 0.01%, and I'm probably not. You know what I mean? But I think the average, the normal poker player, the normal standard, reg in the community, I think the majority of them would consider me a winning player and a pretty good poker player. But I'm certain that some people, like, if they see me at the table, they think that maybe I'm a spot. I think it just depends. And I think that's a good thing. I think that if everyone perceives you the same, then you're probably not doing enough to camouflage how you're playing the game. Everyone has their own way of, what they think is right and wrong. If everyone thinks that I'm going to be playing just like this, then that's not what I want. I want people to think I'm capable of being all the way from here to all the way over here. And if somebody thinks that I'm over here, they might think that this guy over here is trash. He's doing everything wrong. Okay, that's fine. But somebody else might disagree with you. I try to adapt my game to who I'm playing against. There could be times when I'm at a table with a bunch of really good players and I kind of just take a little bit of a back seat in spots and just kind of see what's going on and find a spot. But then I'll be playing like a normal, regular, 2K buy-in, 3K buy-in with normal players, and I'll be the one driving the action or whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I could look like a completely different player from one tournament to the next. I think that for me is a winning formula. And like I said, because of that, I think people might see me playing very different and have very different opinions of my game. But I think for the most part, I think there's a level of respect there. I think most people think I've done enough and I've won and been around long enough where I probably have a clue what I'm doing.
one of the things that's going with me, and I think it's my image, is a lot of people try to bluff me a lot. They think I'm an old guy and I play rocks. I got a habit,
Yeah.
but a lot of people do try to bluff me. I run into it. I catch them sometimes, but it seems like it happens more than I expect it to.
Yeah. Well, but that's the thing. You just the key is seeing that and then taking advantage of it.
That's what I do.
Like, no matter how you're perceived, there's a way to take advantage of it. So it's just, you just need to be self-aware, and you need to look, you just need to look around and say, all right, these guys think that I'm playing crazy, so make sure I have it today. These guys think I'm overfolding. Well, then maybe I got to call a little bit lighter, things like that. And, I think in poker, as in life, being self-aware is like the most important thing. Like, you don't want to think that you're better than you are, because that's going to be a problem. And you don't want to think you're worse than you are, because then you're not going to have the confidence. You need to have a pretty good idea of where you stand. And this isn't just in poker, this isn't everything. And then you just, once you know what you're capable of, then you can, press forward. You know what I mean? Like, it would be real dangerous if you were, you tried ski jumping and thought you can go jump, off of, you know what I mean? Like, and you couldn't do it. You can kill yourself. You know what I mean? Like,
definitely break a leg.
Yeah. So it's the same thing in poker. You need to know what you're capable of, and just kind of build on that.
Jared, when I'm playing and I see people doing this shit while they're playing,
yeah,
I got a big advantage over them.
Yeah, that's me.
I'm not kidding you.
That's my biggest leak.
I see you on your phone. I'm like, I'm going to beat him for sure.
Yeah.
He's not paying it. He's not going to know my history. If I played a hand a certain way against that guy, he'll have no clue how I'm going to play this hand from that. So when I see them doing this shit,
yeah,
I just love it, because I know I'm ahead of him.
I'm bad. I'll be honest. I'm on my phone way too much. Way too much. It's my biggest leak for sure.
Okay.
I'm addicted to my phone. Sometimes I'll pick up my phone, I'll look at something, I'll put it down, and 2 seconds later I'll pick it back up for no reason. Like, it's just like a muscle memory thing. And I would say, but I'll tell you what, I mean, I got to work at it, because there have been times where I've gone to a tournament and I've said, like, all right, I'm just going to leave my phone on. I'm going to turn it off, or I'm going to leave it in the car or whatever.
Right.
But you know what? I'm even worse off, because I'm like going to grab it and it's not even there. And then I'm like, so I got to get better at that. But I'm pretty good at multitasking. Even when I'm on my phone, I'm still kind of trying to pay attention. Listen, there's nobody who can say with a straight face that they can pay better attention while they're looking at their phone than if they're not. That's just, then you're lying to yourself. But I think I'm better at most than being able to still see what's going on while doing that. But that's no excuse. That's my biggest leak, and I should get better at it.
I have a lot of people follow me. I have my own YouTube channel, and this is basically what we're doing here, is a podcast for it. And I'd be sitting there playing in a tournament. Just now, what just happened here?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And they'll say, "Hey, you're going to keep us updated. What? How many chips you got? What? The da. I'm like, dude, I'll let you know on break. I don't want to be distracted.
Yeah.
And then when break does come, I say, hey guys, here we go. Here's the scenario. And sometimes I'll make a little video, or I'll just text it on YouTube or wherever, Facebook. But yeah, I don't want to be distracted, because I play it like I've said 1,000 times. I pretend it's my last dollar and I need to win. I don't let that pressure get to me when I'm playing, but I know inside I want to win so bad. I want to stay focused.
Yeah, I mean,
that's just how I am.
I think that's great. I think that's absolutely the best way that you could approach it. And I would tell you that, like, if you were my student or something like that, and you told me that, I would say I couldn't be happier to hear it, because there's no substitute for maximum attention at the table.
So do you pick on players too when they're on the phone like I do?
I mean,
or do you try to make it in your?
I mean, I can tell who's paying attention and who's not, but I got to be honest. When I'm picking on players, it's probably not as much from that. It's more just who I think I can pick on in that specific situation based on their play. Because I don't necessarily think that always equates to what I might look for in terms of, you know, like just because the guy's on his phone doesn't mean that he's not a crazy player who's willing to just call it off light or 4-bet shove, you know, like things like that. So like you can't really pick on somebody solely because of that, but I can definitely gauge their level of attention and try to, like, during a hand think to myself, maybe he didn't see something that happened earlier that, or, you know, that might give him an advantage in this spot or whatever. But I'm typically looking for how people play other hands as a basis for who I might attack, more so than their actual, like, tendencies off the felt, like in terms of like their actual playing. You know what I mean? Like if I see somebody, I'm going to pick on somebody who I think I can exploit based on their play. That's still the most important thing is how people play. You know what I mean? Like if I see somebody's,
is that part of your love to the game, is to watch how people react?
I mean,
to certain stuff?
it's just being able to study people and
I love that. That's what I'm saying. I love
great.
that kind of stuff.
That's always been something I've been good at. Like, you know, if I wasn't doing this, I'd be a lawyer. You know, I went to law school. That's people.
What Sam was a lawyer. He was just here.
Yeah, most people know that. Like, you know, technically, I'm a licensed attorney, whatever, and I was going to do litigation and stuff like that. So this is, you know, being able to like talk to people, get reads off situations. That's one of the things I'm good at. There's plenty of things I'm not good at. That's one of the things I am good at. So I try to put that to use as much as I possibly can when I'm playing poker. Obviously, as the game gets more advanced, there's a lot less, you know, live tells that you can figure out, and there's a lot less of that's as blatant as it was at a time many years ago, but it still exists. And you're not always playing with professionals, and you're not always playing with people who can, you know, who are aware of what they're saying.
Once again, that's why it's so great.
Yeah.
Everybody plays so different.
Yeah. So, yeah, I think that's definitely one of the things that I lean on more so than others. You know what I mean? When I'm playing, I like to try to figure out who I'm playing against and how to exploit it.
So you know by now how much I love the game.
Yeah, I've never seen anyone enjoy the game more than you. I got to be honest.
You got to see me when I'm playing the game. It's just the same.
I think I have seen you play the game a few times. I've seen you play a few times, and you won that. I'm going to see you at NAPT, right? You won that free seat.
Are you going to play in that too?
Yeah, I'll be there.
All right.
But I've never seen anyone enjoy dealing more, and I don't know that I've ever seen anyone enjoy playing more. So, you know, it's great that you're getting that opportunity. I think
my nephew talked me into coming out here in 2008, and best decision I ever made. Yeah,
I mean, if this is what you enjoy, this is like whatever it is. Whatever, as long as it's not hurting you.
They're all saying I should be behind the wall doing play-by-play, too. I have several pros say, "Man, you should be doing the play-by-play."
Yeah, I mean, I think your love for the game is so huge that you could probably enjoy yourself doing anything when it comes to poker. I think
I tell you what, I know you're right. Yeah. I've enjoyed you today.
I appreciate
We're going to have to cut this off.
I appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
Anytime you want to come back, more than welcome. We could talk about we could talk about me winning the Napa if you want.
Yeah,
we could do that.
Maybe we'll get a heads up, and then we'll do it. We'll talk about how you outplayed me heads up.
I don't know if that would happen because
what do you mean?
You never know.
Why not?
You never know.
Why not?
But listen, man,
I've enjoyed it.
I appreciate
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, anytime you want to come back on.
Okay.
And once again, all those out there watching, supporting me, I thank you for paying attention and watching all this video here today. And like always, may you have a good day, a good night, and thank you for watching.